was, his third worst graded game of that entire season. His not that PFF grades are everything. His PFF grades 89.7, 91.8, 92.4, 90.0 would basically become Green Bay's best player the day that he arrives. His pressures, okay? Let me just pull this up really quick. Rashawn Gary led the Packers in pressures this past year with 47 total pressures, okay? 47 total pressures for Rashawn Gary this past year. Micah had 70. The year before that had 106. Remember last year, he only played 694 snaps. So the year before that, he played 910, had 106 pressures. But that was clearly an outlier because the year before that, he also had 106 pressures. 106 in back-to-back seasons. We are talking about one of the most dominant players in the entire league in the prime of his career that would completely fit in Jeff Hafley's defense to perfection and give them their best pass rusher, their best off-ball linebacker, their best weapon, and a true game changer on defense. So, yes, lose me with well, he didn't play great against Green Bay in that one game. All right, basically every other game in his career, he's been a completely dominant force at all times. And imagine if you do still have then Rashawn Gary on the opposite side, not getting attention, Kenny Clark, Devontae Wyatt, those players not getting as much attention because he's out there. All of a sudden, you have a double A-gap blitz with Micah Parsons and Edgerrin Cooper coming at you. Good night. This brings you from a top 10 defense to a top 3 defense, in my opinion. So, yeah. Do not ever box score scout it, and do not ever just bring up one game in a 4-year career that's been one of the more epic 4-year careers that we have ever seen. But because he had an okay game against Green Bay, I don't want that guy. Yeah, bad process, to say the least. I don't know if you already answered this. Are any starters playing today like Golden? I do not think that we have seen the inactives yet. But as soon as we see them, if I do see them, I will let you guys know. Starters, it sounds like primarily are not going to play, but I don't know if like some of the Matthew Goldens, the LVNs, etc. Where that line is of which ones will play and which ones will not play. Oh, Tomovsky just tweeted. Oh no, I'm just throwing. All right, nothing yet. You and Basarowski are the Packers social media goats. Thank you, Andy. Appreciate that, Jack. How's your day going, Andy? It is going great. What do you think the percentage that the Micah Parsons thing is true? Like even talks that the Packers and Cowboys had possibly. It would not stun me if Green Bay had the conversations internally. It would not. not stun me if Green Bay made a phone call to Dallas. What anything past that would be, I have no idea. It would not stun me if Green Bay had no conversations. It would not stun me if Green Bay did not make any sort of offer. These are sometimes things that get thrown about, and it's really tough to glean one way or the other what's true and what is not. I have to believe that they've at least had some conversations on it, right? Like 31 teams should have had a conversation on, hey, if he is available, what are we willing to offer? And 31 teams should be calling Dallas to say, is he available, and what are you looking for? That is just every team doing their due diligence. I can understand if Philly, Washington, and New York didn't call because they know that there's no way Dallas is trading him inside the division. But outside of that, every team should be having conversations and calling Dallas. No question about it. This might be the most starved for football I have felt in a long time. Well, we get a little taste of it here momentarily, so hopefully that helps. Beast mode Bumblebee. I scream at my TV in excitement, but not in anger. Normally when it's going bad, it's just silent anger staring at the TV. I understand that aspect of it as well. No question. Still no note on who's playing and who's not, huh? Domofsky just said Marshawn Lloyd is in uniform, and it appears he will make his preseason debut versus the Colts today. So it looks like we are getting Marshawn Lloyd. As a Packers fan and a football fan, everyone yelled at the TV when the Seahawks threw the ball against the Pats. I know it's not Packers related, but it's yelling at the TV related. Fair enough. No walking boot for Jaden Reed. Yeah, he didn't have it at practice the other day either, which is good news. I prefer to think I'm screaming with the TV, not at it. I love that. Why so many spam bots today? Holy cow, guys. I have to start getting admin in here. What are they doing with Walker if Morgan wins then? I assume he's just the swing tackle, would be my assumption, but it gets really interesting because if I'm Rashid, I'm saying I demand a trade. I'm not losing out on my $20 million per year because Green Bay wants to start a first-year player that hasn't had much starts before. Yeah, that gets interesting. And the only way I'm trading him if I'm Green Bay, by the way, is I need another, almost starting caliber offensive lineman in return to continue that depth along the offensive line. There's no way I'm going in with my 5 starters and then Anthony Belton being the 6th guy. I can't do it. So it gets really interesting if that ends up being the case, but I think he's probably just a swing tackle, if that's it. Jordy and Greg remixed into Christian Matthew. Wouldn't it be nice? I can't be the only one who sees the similarities. Hey, maybe if that could happen, that'd be great. Do we know what kept Savion Williams out of the game last week? What kept him out of practice this past week? So last week, remember, he still has the shoulder injury that he's recovering from. They've ramped him up very slowly from that, from the red jersey and mini camps to doing less team activities and just been very cautious with him. He also had that concussion earlier, but he was ramping up from the shoulder injury. I didn't think he was going to play last week because of that. My guess is he probably would have played this week, but he, at some point, his right leg, had the massage gun on it this past week. Kind of looked in the thigh region, and I don't know what the injury is there, but he did not practice, and of course, I'm very much assuming he will not play in this game. Jennings was my guy, absolutely. All will be well in the world once Parsons is a Packer. Yeah, don't get your hopes up. If I could have any game-worn jersey, I'd probably go with Aaron Rodgers' jersey from the Miracle and Motown game. That'd be a good one. I'm jumping ahead and need Heath, but the thought of Watson, Golden, Dobbs, Reed, and Wicks, and Savion rotating, it feels insane. I hope that ends up being the case, that we get a really impressive group of wide receivers that are all super talented and can hopefully all catch the ball. Tunyon played well last night for KC, caught a touchdown pass. There we go. That's awesome. Love that. I just go Mitchell and Ness. I have a starter Favre and a Mitchell and Ness Nitschke, never out of style and different. I love that. One bad game from Parsons doesn't make him overrated. He is 100% worth it. Not saying the Packers should do it, but saying he's overrated for one off game is dumb. I'll echo that first part. I'm not arguing Green Bay should empty the treasure chest of draft picks and young players to go get him and give him the biggest defensive contract in football. I wouldn't hate it if they did. I would understand it if they did. I'm not making an argument for or against it, but if they did it, I can understand why, because he's that level of player. No question. He's an elite, one of the elite players in this game, and I think would completely change this Packers team on the defensive side of the ball for the positive. Aaron Jones locked him up. My favorite Aaron Jones game ever. Really good game from Aaron, no question. Man, guys, what is going on today? I've never had this many bots in the chat before. Why would the Packers acquire Parsons and have to pay him a king's ransom when they have their own players that are good and need to pay? because they don't have their own players that are great and need to pay. When a true elite of the elite becomes available, you try to acquire that player. There's only a handful of those type of players in the league. I call them Infinity Stone players, and when you've got the opportunity to collect one, you pretty much do everything that you can to try to collect it. So yeah, I think that's the big thing for Green Bay. They have a lot of really good players. They don't have a lot of top-tier premium players. And being able to go out and get one, I think, is something that you always consider when those things become available and as options to you. By the way, Jennings was also 5'11", but he was 6'3", ran like a galloping horse. Watson 6'7", noteworthy for his running when healthy. I'm nerding out now. That's totally fine. Let's see. Is NFL Plus worth these $7 for one game? I think so, because if you ever want to go back and watch condensed versions, that's worth it in and of itself. But yeah, totally up to you. And I don't know, $7 to be able to watch the game, I don't think is too bad either. It's probably going to be a crappy game, but yeah, I always love the NFL Plus for the condensed versions of the games afterwards to go back and rewatch them. What would the package for Parsons even look like? Multiple firsts? Yeah, a couple firsts, young player, maybe like a 4th or 5th round pick would be my guess. Something in that realm, I think would be fair for both sides. I paid for it last year. I'd say it's worth it, especially if you know you'll be away from home for a couple games, big time. We're going to see Marshawn Lloyd today. I'm excited about it. Still trying to keep an eye on these inactives if we get them here. Still nothing. 4 running backs possible. Let's see, no obvious one to cut. It's very possible. Very, very possible. Well, I'll have YouTube TV for the season. It's just the one game today. Gotcha. That makes sense. I literally teared up when Butler picked off that pass because I hated the Seahawks so much. I totally understand that as well. Itching for Packers football. Yo, yo, yo. It's up to you. If seeing the game is worth $7, then buy it. Fair. We talked about that. Lloyd, it does sound like Lloyd is playing. We don't know for sure, but he's dressed and ready to go. A lot of spam today. The Packers should hire the sticky bandits from Home Alone to help the team catch the ball. Hey, if they want to start wrapping their hands in tape, like, I'm not even against it at this point, but by any means necessary. I don't know if any of you guys have either, or girls, have played football recently or have kids who play football. I don't know if you have seen these gloves. How anybody drops anything with those gloves is beyond me. Like, I know it's not sticking. It might as well be sticking. Like, those things, like, the ball just sticks to it. I don't know. And I get, like, you know, some of those 100-mile-per-hour rocket balls are very much not easy to catch. You've got defenders and crowd noise and everything else. I'm not saying it's easy, but, man, if anything hits your hands with those gloves on, it's a huge advantage. Those things are unreal. Like, just absolutely unreal. Top players in the game that you'll be evaluating, keeping an eye on. Yeah, definitely talked about that on the show today, so go back and check out the preview show. But Marshawn Lloyd, all the young players, but Anthony Belton, Jordan Morgan, Tyron Hopper were 3 of the big ones that I'll be looking at. Does Parsons have a PFF grade for the playoffs only? I feel like he doesn't show up in the playoffs. Could be wrong, though. Let's see. He had a 68.0 grade in 58 snaps in 21, an 85.3 grade in 145 snaps in 22, and a 62.1 grade in 48 snaps in 2023, with 22 pressures and 251 snaps. 22 pressures and 120 pass rush opportunities, which is really still ridiculous. So even though the grades might not be as good, still had very good pass rush grades in all 3 postseasons. So I don't think it probably is not maybe to quite the level. You also have to remember, in a lot of those playoff games, as an offensive coordinator, who are you game planning to make sure doesn't beat you? Michael Parsons. You're doubling him, you're chipping him, you're doing everything you can to make sure that he's not the one that impacts the game. So while you're spending all that focus and time, effort, and energy on him, it might be other players that are eating because of it. And so don't discount that either. Hey, Andy, a big fan of yours here in Brazil. Who is your all-time favorite player in Green Bay? Tremont Williams, Charles Woodson are the 2 that I usually come to mind the most. Players that I've really enjoyed, Amon Green, Greg Jennings, Sam Shields, Nick Collins. But I would say the 2 that I probably default to the most when asked that question are Tremont Williams and Charles Woodson, and probably Tremont would be my final answer. Is your grading scale compared to PFF's grading scale similar to Fahrenheit versus Celsius? Not exactly, just a little bit different. Really hope it isn't just 1 or 2 drives. I want to see Lloyd finally play. Yeah, we'll see how much time he actually gets. Definitely one of the more noteworthy ones in this game. NFL Plus worth the price. You also get every primetime game without having to have 100 streaming services. That's nice. Love the sticky bandits. We're morons. We don't want anywhere near our players. Fair enough. Love Home Alone, though. I love the collaboration with the Paul Farrington Show. Those guys are great. Help us turn Ziggy into a Packers fan. I do have good news for you. I am going to be collaborating with the Paul Farrington Show all season long. And, yeah, we're going to be doing co-branded episodes all year long, every single week. That'll air both on the Paul Farrington Show podcast as well as here on Pack-A-Day. So really excited to team with those guys this upcoming year. No 71-yard field goal today. It is confirmed that starters are not playing in this game for Ashley Washburn down on the field with Matt LaFleur. So starters not playing. Packers coach Matt LaFleur told Wayne Larrabee that his team got through Thursday's joint practice without any new injuries. That's great. Yeah, very good to see. All right. Who are some other sneaky trade for away candidates? Trade for is tough to know because, again, I don't know everything that's going on in the league right now of what players might be on the block. I don't know that there's a ton of trade away candidates because Enigbari would have been one. You don't really have anything on the offensive line. Tennant, like maybe if somebody wanted to give something for Heath or Hardman, but I don't see it. Somebody wanted to give something for Emmanuel Wilson, maybe. Maybe you could get something for a defensive tackle if you wanted to go with 5 and felt like Stackhouse was worth keeping as one of those 5. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be anything that's going to really move the needle in any sort of significant way. I played football, and some of those cutter gloves are incredible, but it's still challenging to catch with all the pads on and what a quarter. Yeah, no question. I'm not saying it's easy, but the gloves are insane. Where does Aaron Jones rank on your all-time favorites list? He's high in mine, but I'm only 18, so I don't remember Woodson. I remember old Tremont Williams, though. Yeah, I love Aaron. No question about it. He'd be very high on that list. Very high. LCD clips, they were unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable last night. Unfreaking believable. One of my favorite concerts I've been to. The Paul Farrington Show is one of my favorite Packer fan pages. I guess we could call him a Packer fan page. Oh, the fan page maybe, but yeah, obviously Vikings fans. But yeah, really excited to talk to them all season long. No LVN or Musgrave, that does not surprise me. Did we get the list here? All right, today's scratches. This is a great way to end it. 29 Packers not playing. Quay Walker, Josh Jacobs, Christian Watson, Jordan Love, Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, Javon Bullard, Nate Hobbs, Carrington Ballantyne, Keyshawn Nixon, Xavier McKinney, Evan Williams, Zane Anderson, Colin Oliver, Zach Tom, Rashawn Gary, Edrin Cooper, Isaiah McDuffie, Rasheed Walker, Aaron Banks, John Williams, Elton Jenkins, Savion Williams, Tucker Kraft, Romeo Dobbs, Luke Musgrave, Lucas Van Ness, Devontae Wyatt, and Kenny Clark. So Matthew Golden time and Marshawn Lloyd time. Oh, geez. Matt LaFleur said that Malik Willis will only play a couple of series and then rotate from there. Yeah, this is going to be a rough one, guys. Just buckle in. This is going to be a rough one. Do not, please, do not get any hopes or expectations up for this one. It is going to be a rough one. Bots are out of control today. I am very stunned at how many there are. No Drunk Andy stream yet. I promise it will happen at some point. Just have not had time recently. Odds that people freak out about this game too, 100%. It'll be a small portion, but 100% that it'll happen. Basarowski and Luke Beller are my go-tos for camp highlights and breakdowns a lot of the time. Take the under. This is going to be a game for true junkies. We might see Bo Melton at quarterback. Who knows? Hey, if we get that, then we might have a chance. All right, friends, I'm going to go get ready for this game. I appreciate you guys a ton. I'll be back here immediately following the game. Thank you so much for joining me. I really, really, really appreciate it. Sorry for all the bots today, but I will be here back after the game. Hopefully, we've got some fun things to discuss. Maybe a big 80-yard Marshawn Lloyd touchdown run and a big 80-yard Matthew Golden touchdown reception to celebrate. But don't get your hopes up on this one. It's going to be bowling shoe ugly. I'm looking forward to it nonetheless. Hope you guys enjoy the game as well. I'll talk to you immediately after. But until then, and as always, go Pack-A.
Can field its advanced new F-35. much faster than that, with those upgraded F-35s then providing an asymmetric and deterrent advantage over advanced Chinese jets like the most modernized J-20s and the forthcoming J-35, all while also addressing some of the shortcomings F-35s currently would have in a Pacific fight, like their unrefueled range. Now, the per-unit price of the F-47 has yet to be disclosed, but previous estimates presented by Air Force officials have placed it potentially as high as $300 million per airframe, which I know sounds like a fortune, but is actually pretty in keeping with previous top-tier fighter efforts once we've adjusted that cost for inflation. At 50% of that price point, these overhauled F-35s would then probably ring in at around $150 million each, which is about $67 million more than today's F-35A, which rings in at around $83 million. And with that roughly 81% increase in per unit price would come a dramatic increase in technological complexity and, more importantly, capability. But what might those capabilities actually look like? Well, about 3 months ago, I posted a video breaking down the improvements that I thought were technologically and financially feasible for such an effort, starting with the baseline of the forthcoming Block 4 overhaul, and then looking to other programs that could be ported to this new F-35, like the new infrared search and track targeting system and stealth underwing fuel pods being developed for the F-22 Raptor, adding adaptive cycle engines like GE's XA100, and finally, to a newly reshaped tail, new control surfaces, and even new wing layouts to provide a substantial increase in lift, payload, and range, akin to similar Lockheed programs from the past, like the F-16XL and FB-22. But thanks to Aviation Week's Graham Warwick, you no longer have to settle for my take, and we can instead turn to a real expert, Darryl Cummings. Now, for a lot of you out there, that might not be a very familiar name, but if you're a fighter fan of any sort, you will all but certainly recognize his work. Mr. Cummings, who now serves as the president of an aircraft design consulting firm called Vors Aero, has made such significant contributions to American aerospace that it can be tough to overstate. During his time as a configuration designer for Boeing and Rockwell prior to the merger, between 1967 and 82, he worked on early stealth efforts, the B-1 bomber, and the groundbreaking Advanced Fighter Technology Integration program that led to now industry standard breakthroughs in automatic terrain following radar, triple redundant fly-by-wire systems, helmet cue targeting, and a whole lot more. In the 1990s, Cummings led the development of Boeing's X-40A space maneuver vehicle demonstration aircraft, which, again, you may not be familiar with, but I bet you have heard of the platform Boeing was able to build as a result of his X-40A successes. Today's highly secretive X-37B long-duration spaceplane. But Cummings' most famous and popular work came during his stint at the Northrop Corporation when he served as chief configuration designer for the fan-favorite YF-23. That's correct. He was the designer behind the only fighter in the world to have a really legitimate claim at outperforming the F-22 Raptor. In fact,